You are live. I think it's kind of cool because, like, if you go to YouTube and pull it up, it actually shows we're live and everything. It's kind of cool. Maybe it's just because I'm a child.
Hmm.
My room is a tragedy right now.
Hold up, wait a minute. You thought I was finished? I'm gonna pull the Aston Martin. I thought I would rent it. Try to get some eyes on this. So, since when was Nick coaching? When did this
He
happen?
I don't know. He's always wanted to coach. I guess he just got one, or finally got a summer job or whatever.
He didn't tell anybody about this. It kind of just like it popped out of nowhere.
I don't know. I don't think I could ever get into it. I don't think I could ever coach. I mean, if I coach football or I had to play it, that's the issue.
Me and Andrew coached.
I don't know if I could do it. I'd be so mad every day.
We both got kicked out at some point. There you go. I'm gonna follow her. Yikes. Yikes. What you mean? Oh, hell. So me and Andrew originally we did a show way back when, and we got through the whole thing. Like it was a bombshell. It was gonna be really good too. And then right at the end, like my computer froze up while it was trying to save.
Nice, solid.
I need to get a new computer so bad, dude.
I can tell you parts and stuff if you actually want to rebuild it. I rebuilt mine twice.
But do you think it's worth getting a pro? Because this is the Air.
I don't know. I've gotten away from Mac. I mean, my computer now is just complete Windows, and I've rebuilt the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier. With the Windows, you have a lot more customization. With the Apple, you're either stuck with that one or you have to buy a brand new one.
Yeah.
With the Windows, you can literally rip out your entire guts of it. So I think I've replaced everything except for my tower and my regular memory. I just added more memory, so it's whatever.
Okay. Do y'all prefer this way or the other way?
Don't matter to me.
All right, but
you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You Gucci?
If I want to be like this, hold up. I gotta fucking. I gotta do something here.
You gotta clean, bro. You gotta pay somebody.
I got shit everywhere.
Yikes, bro. Bruh. Did you go on the water today?
No. I worked till 3.
Oh. So, Aaron, do you want to do the intro this time, or you want me to? And you can throw it to me. We gotta take on Nick's.
I think it'd be better if you do it, because you know him better than I do.
Yeah, he's good at the whole like making up the intro stuff like right on the spot. He's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling. I'm embarrassed of my background right now.
No, just ignore it. Let it ride.
I mean, you see the background on mine. They don't really
That's
look
why
that
mine's
much better.
that's why mine's pointing up. Makes it easier.
Yeah, see, I had
Pure
to put mine a little
shit.
bit down. I gotta do something. Yeah, I don't really care. So, like, if you want to, you can do like the intro to the show, and you just do like the normal, like, what's good, y'all, Athlete Table Podcast, me, say yourself, and then me, and then you can.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live. We've been live,
Oh.
homie.
Well, there's nobody watching.
There's 3 people watching.
Oh.
Yeah. Leave a comment if you're watching. Yeah, do the you can do the intro and just be like, I'll throw it over to Dylan for the play. Just make sure you say I'll throw it to Dylan for the player segment, because then I'm gonna start the video for that. That's just the major thing you gotta do. But other than that, I'll let you start it any way that you want to. Like, it's your show. Do what you want to do. Bet. All right. We can start this in 3. Oh, hold on. Let me get back here. Okay. All right. We are going to start this in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Yo, y'all listen up. I got something to say. I'm going to speak the truth to you, but some of y'all, you took a shortcut, a convenience this summer. You was like, coach ain't here. The season's weeks away. I got time. Are you kidding me? As a college athlete, you got 4, maybe 5 years to be great or be forgotten. So while you home taking it easy, somebody else is out there in the heat just about killing itself to make their name great. But you got time. Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode. From the sidelines down to the post. Put it down like not even close. All out to the last whistle blow. From the flag with the soul and crossbones. Everybody stand up, get your hands up. That a team know that we got they back. This is our house, this is our town, our time.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Aaron, your boy, and then we got good old Dylan over there as well.
That's good.
Hope everybody's doing good today. We got another good one for you today, and I'll throw it over to Dylan for our player segment.
Point of this podcast, like you know, and what we're trying to get out to people, is everyone's journey is different.
Winners and try to strip them to take away that they're just good.
Yeah.
Just admit they're good.
Funny thing about this game, you fail 70% of the
As
time.
long as you can have the determination and never give up, you have the world in your hands.
The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but rising in every single time we fall.
What is up, guys? And thank y'all for joining us here today. Me and AC, of course, he did the intro for us. We've got a very special one today, very near and dear to my heart. One of my homies been growing up. He is the homie. Grew up Trask High School, got a couple of recruiting offers, ended up going down to Brunswick Community College, freaking factory for Division I prospects. Went down, balled out, ended up getting a chance to go play at Pfeiffer University. Played there for a couple of years, and now doing this thing, man. So, Mr. Andrew Chomiczewski, what's going on, my dude?
How's it going, guys? I appreciate you guys having me on today. I'm excited.
It's about time. We I know
Long time.
We talked about it a little bit before the show about how me and you try to do it, and technical difficulties because we're young and stupid. But we're getting it in right now, especially doing it live, which we're very thankful for. Very thankful for the people that are listening to us. If you're listening right now, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you got any questions for your boy over here, make sure you throw it out to us or us. We'll answer some as well. So we'll go ahead and get right down to it, man. So how we start this off is usually the same way that we do with everybody, and we kind of just sprinkle it out. whichever way it goes. So give us a little bit of background where you came up. What was your family like? That origin base where you came from. Let us know.
Well, first of all, I've been an advocate for Athletes Table since y'all started. So about probably a year ago when y'all started getting your stuff together to kind of figure some stuff out with what direction you wanted to go in. I've always been a supporter of you with everything you've done, and
Yeah, we
you,
appreciate that.
Nick, you now newcomers. I applaud you for your progress. It's not easy starting something from the ground up, especially in a podcast or a saturated environment. So appreciate you having me on. Now we go way back. I grew up originally in New Jersey, kind of a small town kid in a big city environment, and life was a lot different up north compared to what it is here, as you can imagine. It's like a melting pot up there as far as different cultures, different ways of life. It's basically you keep up or you get left, not just in traffic, but in life. And, it taught me a lot, created, who I am today. And, played sports growing up. I was always the bigger kid out of the group.
Still the
And
bigger
yeah,
kid out of the
baseball.
group.
I'm still the bigger kid. I'm big 250 right here. But baseball was always my thing, and I always made sure I did everything I could to stand out for myself, so that I could, go wherever I wanted to go with it. So 14, short story long, my parents were like, "Hey, we have the opportunity to move to North Carolina. We're moving in 6 weeks." I didn't know how to act. I was like, "Okay, I guess we're going to North Carolina." So I ended up moving to Burgaw, North Carolina, of all places we could have moved.
Before you continue, homie over here, Mint Thompson, is roasting you in the comments. I just want to let you know now.
Who?
He's like, yeah, Mint Thompson. He's like, using your grandmother's account, that's risky. And saying 250, that's a small change, bro.
Yeah, small change for sure. I've always been a big dude, but yeah, that is risky, by the way. Grandmother's account. Don't have her find out. She might not make
Right.
even more Rice Krispies no more.
Oof. Yeah, we can't have that, bro.
No, so I mean, Burgaw is like, it's a little dot on the map. Javon, you
my
soft,
God.
bro. You got smaller since high school.
All
Just remember
risky.
that. But no, I mean, Burgaw was, small town. Didn't really know how to react with the culture. It went from like a melting pot of 50 cultures to 3, black, white, Mexican. And it was just different, trying to adjust to the culture. Made the best of it. High school, 4-year letter in basketball and baseball. Did my thing at a very small school. Not as much spotlight on you, so you really got to earn it. So I actually, we talked in the past about, summer baseball and how the direction started going towards perfect game and things, rather than what we used to play was like Legion baseball.
Right.
Local Dixie Youth was a big one too. So that was my way of showcasing my talents, because in the summer, all the little schools, we all came together and played on that mega team, whatever you want to call it. And so the pitching, or the people I didn't get to normally play at a smaller level, I got to play in the summer and show them what I had. So a lot different than what it is today. You didn't have to travel to Georgia and spend thousands of dollars to play in front of college scouts, because there were college scouts at every single one of our Legion games here, just because of word of mouth, and social media wasn't that big, and we didn't have recruiting videos and
Right.
all the things, all the technology tools that they have now. So,
Risky asked us, do you remember your first high school home run?
I do. It was sophomore at Pender. RIP to Bradley. My buddy Bradley was pitching, and that was a good game because it was like crosstown rivalry game. The whole town's there. The whole town shuts down and watches you play. And I think that was the first time in North Carolina I played, a couple hundred people. I mean, high school baseball game. Hit my first home run. That was a pretty good moment for me. I hit plenty more after that, so that one stands out. But
He had a few.
Good question. Good question.
Yeah. So Aaron, Trask and Pender back at home in Pender County. It's basically like what Carolina Duke is up in Raleigh.
Hell yeah.
Like it's one of those like old school.
Doesn't matter what sport. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer.
The basketball games play each other, bro.
Basketball games were lit. I mean, you get a gym that maybe hosts 1,200 people max.
Right.
They would max that place out. That was a good environment.
My first Trask and Pender game was the game that Josh hit that buzzer beater.
That was fun.
There was 3 fights in that game.
I think that was my sophomore year again. Sophomore, junior year, but yeah, we were down like 4 going in the back 30 seconds of the game. Hit a 3. They get the ball. We turn it over. We come down. He misses it. It comes right back off the rim to him, and he just throws it up real quick, and we hit the buzzer beater.
Yeah,
great game.
Nice.
A couple of parents are fighting over there by the locker rooms too.
Hell yeah, that's the best part. The kids don't get a chance to fight. You got to fight instead. Hell yeah.
It was tight quarters. I mean, there's cops in the corner of the gymnasium making sure that people don't go onto the court, but that was the highlight of high school sports was that rivalry. Red Sox, Yankees, Carolina Duke, however you want to put it.
So I have to ask. We'll take a transition here. Why did your parents decide to land in Burgaw out of everywhere?
I ask that question all the time, but I think they ended up helping a family friend move. I think maybe their parents were down here or something. Go Yankees! And they came down here. They moved them, back to wherever. And when they were down here, they just liked the area. My parents always wanted a house for themselves, a place to call home. And they just liked the area. They came home and they were like, "Hey, we made a bid on a house down in North Carolina. Like, there's a good chance we move." And I was like, I'm getting ready for my freshman year of high school. Like, I got stuff lined up for me here. Like, why are we leaving? But the whole idea, and this goes into the conversation we'll have about being a small fish in a big pond. My idea was to go to Carolina. That was my goal.
That's disgusting.
Realized real quick that was a hard task to do, but it would have been great to go to Carolina. I mean, who doesn't want to go to North Carolina, Duke State, a big school.
Yeah.
So that was the idea behind moving here, thinking 4 years, have opportunity in North Carolina, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, we picked the smallest high school in North Carolina to go to, so that didn't really work out that well. But hey, look where we are now.
Yeah, it's definitely, I will say, it's shaped us to be where we're at now. Both of us, and Aaron can attest to that. He's in the same boat right now. He came from a decent sized school, and he's became very well known, doing very good. I know he's looking to come down to the Moorhead area here soon.
Yeah, no, I love this area. I mean, I see myself here long term. I like being on the coast, fishing and being on a boat and doing things now as I'm an adult. But it's funny how Javon, said something about Wake Tech, but
Eagles! Go Eagles!
We used to beat the brakes off of Wake Tech every year. So
so you mean Dakota lost a lot? Dude, that's messed up.
Yeah. Well, when they played us, they did. They knew who they were playing when they came to the beach. But I was actually, when I was in high school, I was supposed to go to Gardner Webb, which is a small mid-major, Charlotte, Shelby area, and that was like my landing spot. I was happy. I talked to coaches. I signed. Did my thing, and then just some miscommunication. I hurt my knee over the summer playing basketball. Didn't report my injury. Wasn't surgery ridden or anything bad, but it was enough to where I was not playing those scheduled baseball camps that I signed up for.
Yeah.
So after the second one I didn't show up to, they're like, what's going on. And that's where I told him, I was like, hey, I just got bum knee. Just give it some time to rest. And since I didn't fully, I wasn't fully transparent, they ended up moving on and going in a different direction. So at that point, I was down to square one because I thought I was going to school there. So all my recruiting was gone, all my connections were gone. So I literally had to figure that shit out. And I did. Made a call to Brunswick. I'm not that far away, so I went down there, and that's where I landed. And I was extremely grateful for the opportunity to be under Coach Allen's wing. If you don't know Coach Allen, he'll definitely be a Hall of Fame youth coach in North Carolina if he's not already. I don't think he is, but he will be. He created that program from the ground up. And it turned into just a team to be reckoned with every year. Like, he's got a winning program every single year. He applauds wisdom and good character, old style ways, accountability, things that quite frankly might not be taught to that extent nowadays. So going into that environment, the structure, it wasn't military structure. It was just old ways structure.
Because old baseball wisdom.
It was great.
Totally different.
It was great. And to this day, I guide people in that direction. I'll reach out to coach and throw him names that I think would fit in the program because I know his mold. I know what he's looking for. So I was there for 3 years. I redshirted a year, I hurt my back, and we can go into that conversation.
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute.
But when I landed there, I was happy, but I was just dealing with injuries the whole time.
See, when exactly did these injuries start? Because we'll go back a little bit to your high school time, because you were getting recruited decently whenever you were in high school, because we used to work out together and everything else. But then you started getting a couple of injuries here and there. I know your back was a big issue at one point, and I know that's a big reason why. Like, go ahead.
My back didn't pop up till college.
Okay.
Really, in high school, it was just my knee, which was just basketball. It was just wear and tear. I caught my whole life. I'm playing basketball. It happens. Then kind of had some shoulder issues because I never had time off. I mean, I'm throwing year round. So those two things followed me as I got older, stronger, lifting more, just being in better shape for college baseball rather than high school baseball. And I mean, it was fine until I hurt my back. And that was an eye opener as far as life, not sports, not college, not an injury. It was just life.
Right.
Life changed for 6-8 months when I hurt my back. So
yeah, something definitely like that we can both attest to back injuries at this point, because I'm an old man and my back don't work anymore. But
well, knock on wood, I've had good faith since. So
well, you're the boss now, so you're not supposed to be picking shit up.
You're right. I just throw stuff.
Yeah. So what was your recruiting process like going through high school?
It was tight. It was when you go to a small school, you're not exposed to all the big school contacts, coaches, schools. You do have to go, even though it wasn't a big thing as far as Perfect Game or the Rawlings stuff and like all the stuff they do now.
Right.
There were still showcase tournaments where, I got to drive 3 hours to Greensboro or go to Charlotte for the day, or, it wasn't ideal because it cost a lot of money. I was doing stuff over the summer and trying to work and play different things, and it was different. So when you did get that opportunity to play in front of those coaches, I mean, there was no choice. It was game on, and you had to show out because that might be your one time to play good in front of somebody. So and I felt like I held my own. I had a lot of D2 schools. I had UNCW on the list. I had, different schools, different interests, but none of them really panned out to where I really knew I was going to play, be closer to home, and scholarship money and all that stuff kind of came into play. So that's where I landed with Gardner Webb. Like I loved it there. And then when that didn't work out, I was like, shit, what am I gonna do now?
Mm-hmm.
And because when that happened, it was like fall of my senior year. I was already set. All my recruiting was gone. All my connections and emails were gone. Um, so it was different. Once I got to Brunswick, I'm straight. I'm having a good time. I'm growing as an adult, lifting, playing baseball, doing my thing. And that's where I hurt my back. Got hit at home plate. I got blindsided at the plate, and uh, I'm a big dude, but regardless of how big I am, when you're looking in one direction and you get hit from the other,
Oh, yeah.
you don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I was up the line. If you know what that means, I was up out of the box, up the line, because that's where the throw came in. I grabbed and I turned, and he hit me like a freight train. Me being 19 years old, I was stubborn, so I just popped up. I want to be the hurt guy. Went in the dugout, and I let off that inning, hitting wise. Grabbed the bat. I knew something wasn't right. I was like, just get over it. Come on, we got that bat to have. And I went up there and I took just a practice swing, and I was like, whoa, like something's not right. I don't know what it is, but something's not right. So I tried to mentally go through the at bat without swinging because I knew something was hurt. Boom, boom, boom. Came to a spot where I had to swing, and I swung, and I just heard pop, pop, pop,
Oof.
and I just dropped to my knee, and I was done. I couldn't walk off the field. It was a bad situation, but luckily it was the first week of the season, and I only played 3 games. I can redshirt and do different things, but that wasn't even my first mindset. My first mindset was, how am I gonna lift my leg over that 4-inch gap to get in the shower? How am I gonna take a shit? Put my socks on. That's literally the extent of my thought process, was real basic life skills that I could not do now because I hurt my back.
It's funny because, like, if you talk to any athlete and they've had a back injury, right? Any football player, baseball player, basketball, whatever it is, the ones that have back injuries, literally the first thing they think of is, how am I going to wipe my ass?
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's the
literally
most
the first
important
thing.
thing, dude. That's the most important thing. Your back gets hurt. You're basically, you can't do really anything. Because
Nope.
most of the people that hurt their backs that are athletes, you still want to be active and doing things.
Right.
You're not really wanting just to sit inside and do nothing, right?
Yeah,
You
that
hurt
was
your
the
back, you're a lame duck.
that was the tough part, because once I got to the doctor, went to 3 different people, the orthopedic, the this, the that, and the last guy I talked to at the orthopedic doctor, they were trying to weigh surgery, and they were like, look, it's only a 30% success rate on this surgery that you go back to normal.
Oh,
And I was like,
God.
30% to put me to sleep, open me up, and do a little, and then, hey, we'll see if he walks again. No, I ain't doing that at 19 years old. So he was like, all right, well then, your next option is literally to live life and take it easy. There is no, there was rehab. Like, I did like 3 months of rehab to kind of like protect my posture, like stupid stuff. But as far as pain, it was inevitable. Like, it was there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get away from it. And the hardest discussion was, that man looked at me in the face and said, "You're never going to swing a baseball bat again." 19 years old, baseball's the only thing I know. That hit me like I didn't even know how to react, because I knew my life was about to change. Fast forward, that happened in February of 2014. Fast forward to like August-ish. We go back to session. We go back in school the second week of August, third week of August. So that last week of July, first week of August, I'll be very honest, I was just fucking around. Like I was walking around normal, sleeping better, getting better overall. Like mentally, I can be active now. I just can't. I'll never play baseball again. That was my mindset. I started swinging a golf club. I was just messing around the back. We got little pond action, hitting little 80-yard chip. And I was like, if I could swing a golf club pain-free, what are the odds I can swing a baseball bat and not hurt myself? So I literally went straight to the car and grabbed the baseball bat, and I just started moving around and doing things. And I was like, yo, I can do this. Like, I'm gonna try to make a comeback here. Went to Coach Allen the next day. I was like, yo, I'd like to come back. Obviously, I redshirted. I still got another year of eligibility. He's definitely an old guy that keeps it straight with you. And he was like, look, you made a difference when you were here, as a teammate, as a supporter, as everything that we want in a player besides playing, because you didn't play. We'd love to have you back. But keep in mind, it's a 2-year school, so we recruit to replace you. And the fact that you're doubling back on that, there's going to be 3 people catching. There's going to be 3 people playing first base. There's going to be, where are you going to play? And I said, let me be in charge of that. Like I'll take accountability to earn that spot if that's where you choose for me to be. Came back, and I will say that 2 months of coming, Dylan, you know how it is coming back to school and running through trials of understanding if you're in shape or not.
Yeah.
That there was no exception. There was no exception like, oh, homie just came off a back injury. It was like, oh, we running 10-time poles right now. Let's get it.
You got to figure out how to finish.
I didn't even know what to do because I didn't run for 8 months. So anyway, that was a mind opener for sure. Just to expand your mind to understand that anything can change at any point in time like that.
Well, it's that old story that we hear from our parents, especially ones that played competitive sports growing up. They're
Enjoy
saying,
it while you're there. You're
enjoy
gonna miss it. Don't do nothing stupid.
An injury can take away
Give
your
it
whole
your all.
livelihood.
Sure.
It can
Even out of high
really-
school. I mean,
Yeah.
you go back to high school and you tell those kids like, oh my God, I miss this. Like, take advantage of this. Play your ass off. Like, have fun. Because when it's gone, it's gone.
And the thing is, we used to be the ones to laugh at people that said that.
Yeah, no, I'll be
we-
very guilty to understand. Like, yeah, that was me. I would be like, get out of the locker room, bro. I'm trying to get ready for this game. Like, I don't need to hear this. Or out on the field and be like, dog, I got to go warm up a pitcher, and you're over here telling me to take advantage of it. Like, I was that stubborn
I'm bulletproof.
kid,
Like, you ain't gonna touch me.
and, yeah, well, something like the conversation I had with that doctor, it just changes your life. So yeah.
Yeah, there's
Brunswick
some
was good
people-
for me though.
Yeah, because it definitely I remember at this point, because I was getting into my recruiting process and I was talking through with you a lot of this stuff, and right as you were starting that next season, that next August going into that next season, that was my first year going to East Carolina. So me and you had a lot of conversations.
Correct.
About
because I was 2 years ahead, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, you were 2 years ahead of me. Yeah, so like I was going into ECU at that point, and like you were saying the same stuff to me that you're saying right now, because like you just went through this and like you went through a life altering thing. So I was like,
so I'm giving it to you at 21 now. 20, 21. You're going fresh into school at 18, and you're like, homie, I don't want to hear this shit. But I was looking out for a brother.
Like, listen, bro, you're too young to be acting this old. Like, we can't be having this. Like, you need to be giving me like tips on like where am I supposed to find a party at? Yeah.
No. You at ECU, bro. You can walk down the street and find whatever you want.
Yeah, but Brunswick ain't no slap either.
Find whatever you want, regardless of what you're talking about. If you know what I mean.
We did too. I mean, I can't front about that. Aaron will tell you about that.
And I was happy I didn't go to a big school. Like I never thought of going to a big school unless I was the guy at the big school. And I mean, I realized I wasn't the guy. Like I just, it was realistic to me to understand that was not my place.
And I'll tag on to that. Do you think it matters a lot from like you coming up from a small school to a big school on like your mentality going into a college setting? Of like a small school, we're the big dogs on campus. Like us, like as athletes, you, me, Dakota, Josh, all of us, we were like the big dogs on campus. We can do whatever we wanted to. At a East Carolina, a UNC, you can't do that. You can't have that mentality. You are a tiny.
But
little
there are kids that are blessed to go in that opportunity that just stand out. They are that guy. As soon as they get on campus, whether they have good social media presence or they have a successful freshman year or they're high stake recruiting, they are that guy. And
it's a lot different now than whenever we were coming up.
And we could talk about it. I think it's an interesting topic to talk about how different that is now, considering that these athletes are getting paid.
Money.
It's changed the game. Literally, it's changed the game. And I mean, we can go into depth, but it's a business now, and I think it's going to take some. I don't know what it's going to take to understand the difference between amateur sports and professional sports with money involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that
do you think it's reversible now, or do you think we're screwed?
You can't go back.
Nah, I'm 100% with we're in it now. Just because everybody's like, I want to go to this school because I'm gonna get paid money. I don't want to go to this school because I'm not gonna get paid money.
Well, look at
down
look at Caleb Williams. You know, I personally saw him play when he played Pac-12 championship last year against Utah. Me personally, I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams. I think that he's not as good as he's overrated in my eyes.
Yeah.
I think his stats are impressive, but the way he carries himself and the way he plays the game, to me, is not what I would invest in.
Yeah.
But look where we are with Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young's trash right now, and he was number one pick. So, cool. But he literally said it the other day. Hey, I'm gonna stay. If I don't get drafted where I want to get drafted, I'm gonna stay from my senior year and get paid more than my rookie contract. And then the following year, say I have the same year, I can choose what team I want to play for in the NFL. What? Where did that change? Because last time I checked, a 21-year-old kid didn't have a choice of what professional sports team he wanted to play for. The draft was a
gamble. It was a
lottery.
blessing.
It was a blessing. Like, oh my God, I got drafted. Like, doesn't matter if I'm going to play for the fucking Jets. I mean, I got drafted. Now it's like, I ain't going to the Jets. I'm gonna stay at school and get Chick-fil-A every other day for free and do whatever I want in school.
Make a couple mil because I got a sponsorship deal. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, on the flip side, maybe like what Colorado's doing, there's a lot of hype around Colorado, and I'm glad they got humbled. I like what Coach Prime's doing, but it's shown that culture can change really fast. And I think what he did in Colorado will translate to the rest of the league to some capacity, as far as the longevity of having an athlete grow in your program, but be where he wants to be, play where he wants to play, act how he wants to act, represent a school that represents him and cares about him. And that's what he's doing in Colorado. So didn't make to take a little avenue there, but
no,
I think
like
it's interesting.
That's stuff that we do need to talk about, because it's like, it's kind of what he's doing, and like we have conversations about this on our Thursday show, but what Coach Prime's doing at Colorado, it's different from what we've ever seen in NCAA, but it's also the same. If you look at like old school, the way that coaches used to recruit, like the Bobby Bowdens, the Steve Spurriers, all them, they used to recruit players that wanted to play for him because he fits his style, and that's the type of player that he wants to play.
Look at Nick Saban. Look
Yeah.
at Kirby Smart. Look at old boy in Ohio State. Look at, all these coaches that are primarily succeeding in recruiting just because of their name.
Mhm.
That's great. But now you add millions of dollars in the mix. They don't give a shit about going to Alabama and playing for Nick Saban. Now they want to go to A&M, make $1 million a year, and beat Alabama.
Right. It kind of
And
levels the playing field a little bit.
I like it. But I am
also
kind
to
of
a
jealous
certain extent.
because I didn't make money in school.
We lost money at school.
Oh, absolutely. Just got student loans now. But I mean, even like I have a buddy that's playing Division II baseball, very successful at North Greenville. He's done everything you could think of in baseball, but good dude, good head on his shoulders. And he signed a letter with local, like he signed a local letter with the Ford dealership, just to show up in like local commercials, and he's up on a billboard in a baseball uniform. Hey, go buy a Ford, and they endorsed him with a brand new truck.
Fuck yeah, dude! That's what I'm talking about. Free
I mean,
truck.
he's driving a brand new
Goddamn.
F-250, decked
Sign me
out,
up,
probably
man.
$75,000 truck, no truck payment, just having to pay for insurance, and he's endorsing Ford just by being good at baseball. Like that's pretty cool. But what do you do for the kid that doesn't play, that sits on the bench, that is maybe mentally weak, doesn't have the drive that maybe the superstar has? He ain't getting shit. Your top 5, top 6 on the roster are getting everything. Where's the middle ground? Because
Yeah.
So
nowadays,
let me play devil's advocate for that, and I'll let you continue. What's the difference between, and this is, we're gonna go into uncharted territory here that we don't really want to talk about, but most people don't want to talk about. I'm good with talking about it. What's the difference between exactly what you just said, where like the lower tier players on the roster, they're not going to get the chance to sign on with NIL deals or anything like that, but the professionals are the same way. But you want to keep on calling these kids amateurs, but you have the same business mold as what the professional sports do.
yeah. And somewhere in the fine print, the NCAA is going to cash in on those NIL deals.
Oh, yeah.
10% tax or some
stupid.
sort of, I don't know what it is. It's fine print. There's a reason why it's in the gray.
Yeah.
But they're going to cash in somehow. It's a business model for the NCAA too. They're not going to. There's no way they agree to that by not benefiting from it. Let's just put it that way.
And
But
you
it's
got to
weird
remember, the
how,
athletes are the ones that chose that.
But like even the comparison between pro sports and college sports. You go to Carolina, you go to Charlotte, go to Carolina Panthers game. They're playing the Saints. You got, let's just say, an 80,000 capacity stadium. There's only about 45,000 people there. Very low, mild environment, not very excited. Like the fans can be excited, but as far as the environment of the stadium, very lack. For my first NFL game a couple weeks ago, I was embarrassed to be there. Like seriously, I did not.
You chose a bad year to go to one too.
I cared to go with the people I went with, but I didn't necessarily care to go watch the Panthers play.
Right.
But the comparison is then you go to Death Valley or Alabama or something, Penn State, 100,000 fans, decked out in white. The environment's nasty, just crazy environment for a college football game.
Yeah.
But we can't do that in the NFL.
I can tell you, I can play into that a little bit as well. College football has become more of a standard, or just college sports in general have become more of a standard than professional, because if you think about it, like example, the NBA, every year now, if you touch a guy, it's a penalty. You get near him, it's a penalty. I mean, NFL is getting like that too. There's just so many rules that are just making it safer. That's good and all, but it doesn't make people want to play. I mean, look at college sports there. I mean, it's getting away from that now with all the money being thrown into it. But it was at a point where I'm not getting paid yet. Let me break someone else's back so I can become a good player, and then I'll be noticed and picked up in the NFL or in
I gotta
professional
make
sports team.
I have to make it here so I can get paid. Now it's I'm getting paid more than
That's what's staying though, because that was still on the up and up, and that's kind of what's been like the center of it right now. So that's still college sports is just. I mean, you get environments that you don't have anywhere else. I mean, the Vikings do it kind of with the skull chant. That's good and all. That's a different
The
environment.
Bengals do the
but-
whiteout. You know,
Yeah.
the Cowboys are in AT&T Stadium. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there is hype around the NFL, but as far as the overall environment, they use it as a business model more than a sports structure.
That's
Same
also
thing.
getting towards that though. With sorry to interrupt you, but getting
No, you're
towards
good.
the what is it? I can't think now. Yeah, college football or college sports in general is more marketed towards younger people. It's like, oh, he's like 4 years younger than me, or like you're a young kid. Oh, he's older than me, or I'm younger than him, or whatever. It's like I could be there one day, and that's the appeal of it. Whereas the NFL, it's like, all right, this man's like 39, still playing football. I'm not. It's not really that
Frank Gore.
appealing to me. Yeah, it's like, oh, he's still playing. All right, that's kind of whatever. College football's
But-
like, all right, they're young. I could be there at one point. You won't be. You know, that's just you have to be.
But where's the
blessed.
competitive the All-Star game? Okay, All-Star game's always a hype thing. Doesn't matter
Well,
what sport you're
The
in.
All-Star game is
Except
getting
for the
into
Pro
the
Bowl.
playoffs. That's it. That's the All-Star game, and the next year with the 12
But
teams,
that's how it
gonna
used to be.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
how it used to be. It was we got to win the All-Star game because it benefits us. It benefits
Yeah,
the
momentum.
AL. It benefits the
Mhm.
NL. To have home field advantage. That's huge.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it turns into let's put a minute and 20 on the clock and see how many home runs you hit. Lame.
I can't stand it. Go back to the old layout.
Celebrity games,
Yeah.
hype, hoopla, whatever. And then you play an All-Star game to what? Get airtime and
Yeah, that's
you know,
basically.
But they
have a
don't get
good
enough
have a
as it
good
is.
matchup.
Yeah.
You know, the World Baseball Classic proved that that's what the people want.
Right.
They want a competitive environment of baseball.
Mhm.
All-Star game has no meaning to it now. Now each team has to have a player go to the All-Star game. Bro, if the Rockies suck this year and they don't have a guy batting over 250 and they don't have a pitcher with an ERA under 3, you're not an All-Star, bro.
Yeah.
You're just not.
You
So
didn't earn it.
why are we
Yeah.
feeling? Oh, we gotta send somebody. Who's it gonna be? All right, your best player. Batting 238.
Yeah.
Going to the All-Star game. For what?
see,
For representation?
And see that's another thing too. And I'm gonna tag on to the college sports with this. Me and you, like we go to a lot of college games. We go to some pro games, everything else. So in a pro game, you don't mind getting up if it gets like 5th, 6th in a lineup. We don't mind getting up, going onto the concourse, go and grab some food, grab a drink, whatever. You go out there, hang out, talk to some random person you don't really care about. You hang out. Like professional games are like a hangout spot. When you go to a college game, you don't want to miss a pitch because the
No.
hype is so much there.
Yeah.
Like we gone to ECU Carolina games, for example, or ECU State games, for example. Those are gigantic. Like you do not miss one single pitch because it's the same thing like we were talking about football. Every single pitch matters in college.
Oh, yeah.
Every single thing you do, every single hit matters. If you round a base wrong and they throw you out, that matters. And the pros that don't, you're getting paid. Who cares?
And that's why I get both sides of it. I see it as a business. Like I went to school for it. Like I understand
Right.
the business model behind sports and the marketing aspect and the money. I'm 50-50. I see it from both sides. My main thing is you got these, Otani's going to sign for $500 million plus next year
Now he's a sign for less now because he hurt himself.
because he hurt himself.
So
So that's what I'm getting myself into is what is the guaranteed money? Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. Let's sign a 13-year, $380 million contract. 330 of that is guaranteed, regardless if you play like shit, don't make an All-Star game, don't make a World Series, you still make that money. Just like the world now, I work for Pepsi. Why not have incentive-based pay?
Mhm.
I mean, if you before the season, just like if you're playing the show, right, Dylan, you play the show a lot,
Mhm.
and you have different accolades that you hit,
Right.
and that comes with experience, it comes with points and money and all that bullshit. So why don't you do that in real life? Where okay, in the beginning of the season, you lay it out and say, okay, I am a All-Star caliber player. I'm going to make the All-Star game. I'm going to earn my shot to go to the All-Star game. Fan voting, whatever. I'm going to hit 30 home runs. I'm going to have 100 RBI. I'm going to shoot for 20 stolen bases. I want to get to the playoffs. I want to go to the, just your different sign-up accolades that you agree
Right.
to. Like before the season, this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
Then you go out there and hit it, Bubba. And if you don't hit 30 home runs, you don't get that 150K that year. If you don't hit 100 RBIs, you don't get that 150K that year. So out of your $3 million you make that year, maybe you got a slow year and you only make 800,000. I guarantee that'll make you play harder or work harder for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, there's a clause in there if you get hurt. Like,
Yeah.
I get that. You earn 50% of your year's pay. The other 50% you earn an incentive. And then maybe you'll start seeing some hustle. You'll start seeing people run down first baseline. I don't know.
Just
But-
bring the steroids version of baseball back. That's what made it fun.
It'll be different. It'll be different.
Different? What do you mean? All right, boys, we're gonna shoot it in the fucking locker rooms. Let's go out and swing some shit.
Nah, I don't even think it was like that. I don't know. I can't relate because I don't know how it was back then. But I think them boys were just on the hype train, and they were just trying to hit home runs and get big, get on Sports Illustrated. They
Well,
weren't
even
about-
then,
weren't
they
about side
were doing
effects.
incentive pay for a lot of that stuff. So the more home runs they're hitting, the more they're making.
Yep.
Even in 1997,
That's how they earn their
were
money.
doing that. Yeah.
Or the home run derby. It's like, okay, you get 10 outs. We're gonna see how many you can launch out of here. But the winner of the home run derby is gonna make 250K.
Mhm.
You're damn right. I'm gonna sit up there and try to hit some bombs.
It used to
Now
be.
it's okay.
it
How
used to
many
mean
can you
something.
hit in a minute 20?
Right.
It's like going back to training, or like if you're doing T work in the cage. When I was little, I actually had good, decent coaches, and they wanted you to hit, deep breath, set up, hit, set up, deep breath.
It's about quality.
You quality over quantity.
Mhm.
Then you got the little league coach that's constantly trying to hit balls, and it's like that kid's not even taking a good swing. So you're just creating bad habits, and that's what happens in the home run derby is they go up there and they're just launching them. And granted,
nobody
it's a
wants to do it
show.
anymore.
It's entertaining,
Yeah.
but is it beneficial to the game? No.
Well, it's because kids don't have the attention span to be able to handle all of it anymore.
It's all about this now.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
T-Mobile. Every time a ball's thrown, T-Mobile.
It's bad.
Lottery. Breast cancer awareness. It's all business, and there's no other way to look at it, honestly, because that's just what it's turned into. So, but we can backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, we got way off track there.
It's a good conversation. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's exactly why we're here. And again, if y'all are listening right now, leave a comment down there. Let us know that you're listening. If you got any questions, be sure to let us know. But we'll get back on track here. So you went to Brunswick, had a couple of hiccups. Then all of a sudden, this school out towards Charlotte, Pfeiffer University, rings your phone. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. So, well, I came back. I came back and I had to fight for playing time. And honestly, I didn't play a whole lot. I got 30 at bats that year. Like, I mean, I was the midweek fill in or late inning pinch hit, or, I just didn't play a lot because there was just so much around me, still dealing with the back injury, still dealing with stuff. So I turned my focus into being the best person I could be, buy into Coach Allen's wisdom and way of life, and be a better person.
Mhm.
So when I did those three things, it gave me the opportunity to prolong playing baseball at the next level. There was other things entitled to, I lost my grandfather. I was going through a bad breakup. There were things going on in my life where I needed baseball. I couldn't just start over or lose it. So at that time when I got hurt, I lost all my recruiting because it's only a 2-year school. So you're constantly talking to schools to want to transfer because you could transfer out after a year, 2 years, whatever. I had nothing. So I ended up sending 1,000 emails, recruiting videos, anything I could I would say out of 30 schools, realistically 30 schools I tried to talk to, one called me, and that was Pfeiffer. And it's because on paper, everything's judgmental nowadays. Looking on paper, like this kid's batting 400, but he only hit 30 times this year. Like, what's going on? Why isn't he playing? But you didn't see that the two guys in front of me are all Americans that were, going to a World Series and playing D1 at the next level and all that. Where am I going to shine? So I didn't get to play. But long story short, Pfeiffer took a chance on me, and again, it was a way for me to prolong and play, but it was an opportunity for me to grow as a person and take another challenge head on, because now I'm moving away from home. I'm on my own. Where I've been living in an apartment for 3 years, spoiled. I'm going to a jail cell and going to an old style dorm setting. A lot of different things going on. But I was thankful. Regardless of me and Dusty's relationship, I had Dusty Blake as a head coach. He went on to be the pitching coach at Duke, and now he's the pitching coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. I had a good relationship with Coach Stamp, who's Jordan Stamp, who's at Campbell now. He's the head of baseball ops at Campbell. Coach Bolt still at Pfeiffer running the show. Jay Hare, like I had some really good coaches at Pfeiffer, but that's where I met my best friends, because when you go to a small school, you do everything together. Literally from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, if you even go to bed, you are just with the same group of guys. And I met 2, 3, 4 of my best friends that I still talk to on a daily basis at Pfeiffer. And it just allowed me to grow. So
Yeah, Aaron, he texted me because this would have been around my junior year of being at ECU at that point, I believe, because I think you did one more year Brunswick. Yeah, so he texted me whenever, because I already knew he was going to Pfeiffer. He was like, bro, they got me in this tiny ass dorm room. I'm like, welcome to the real world, homie.
Literally, I mean, I didn't know any better. I'm spoiled in a 3-bedroom apartment with my own bathroom and queen size mattress, and now I'm stuck on a single in a 3x5 block.
Hell yeah, dude! Back to the sticks.
Sharing a bathroom with a hall. It's just.
Those are the fun ones. Oh yeah.
And I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was different, but it was not what I signed up for. Especially playing ball and having to go upstairs to do laundry and share a bathroom, and I'm trying to take a shit. Trying to go do my thing.
Did you ever have any weird experiences taking a shower in there?
Nah, I mean, we all kind of did our own thing. Respect for space, clean up behind yourself. But I mean, school was fun. That was another thing too. With school is like Brunswick. You go, community college. You go through all your prerequisites, your English, math, music, bullshit. When I moved and went to Pfeiffer, it was concentrated. This is what you're going to study. You get to choose kind of the avenue you want to, put yourself in. So I majored in sports information under sport management as a concentration. My outlook was to go into college sports, was to do something, and I wanted to go in that direction, whether it was game day operations, stats. I did a lot of the graphic design. I created a Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff I created for the school's athletic program, which helped endorse recruiting and sport, just overall makeup of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was down to commentating, playing music at games, like I just like being around college sports. So I thoroughly enjoyed Pfeiffer. Did my internship with the the athletic director, and that's kind of like where I was like, "Duh, if you can do this, I can do this." Like, not discrediting Jeremy Zalaka, who's at Lenore Rhine now, but I knew exactly what he did on a daily basis, making good money. I was like, "Yo, I can do this. Like, this is fun." Like, you go back and you grow up, and you're like, "What's the saying? If you enjoy if you love what you do, then you're not going to work, or whatever that saying is."
Mhm.
It's true. If you enjoy what you do every day, it's not going to work. It's just doing what you love. Um, but that door quickly shut when I realized that every single opportunity I looked into out of school was an unpaid internship for a year, and and it was also a competitive battle where 100 applicants, they choose three, and I just couldn't do that with money. So I ended up having to pull the plug and go back home, um, and go work at Pepsi, where I ended up. So, and I'm still there now, 5 years later.
Yeah, it's funny because I take a lot of our social media stuff and branch it from like that time whenever you were there. You don't realize that, but I take a lot of what you did and how you build up their social media platform and everything that they became now, because they still kept on with the foundation you laid there. I'm kind of taking that and I'm like revamping it to our own brand. And I have you to thank for that, because I've grown a lot from that point. But no, I remember a lot. Pfeiffer, you grew tremendously. You grew tenfold, because we used to have conversations about it all the time. You
Yeah,
being
that was a
there.
tough task. Athletic director Jeremy pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, I'm not. This isn't my forte. This is not what I'm good at. I can create the things to put on social media, but as far as starting from the bottom, every social media platform they have right now, I had a say in, or I created. Where
Mhm.
I created a Snapchat, I created an Instagram, I created Twitter, Facebook. Uh, right now they're using Huddle for streaming, but I use a different platform that didn't cost as much money. I had a budget, I had objectives to follow, and they said roll with it. By the end of spring junior year, we want all of this intact. We want it all ran, and the biggest thing was we want anybody to be able to run it, not just you, me, oh girl, whoever could log in and run it, so that way it can be prolonged. And I remember the only thing they had was a Twitter page for their athletic program, but it was literally just to showcase their soccer team. Men's soccer team, they won the national title the year before I got there, and there's a lot of hype around the soccer team, and so they used that platform to broadcast the success of the soccer team. But there was no other athletic teams attached to it. Softball team's a national team that competes every year. It's really a baseball school. Basketball killed it. I mean, sports in general were legit for a Division two school, and so I think, man, I could look it up, but I think their Twitter, the only platform they had was Twitter, and I think they had like 2 or 3 or 400 followers, and I think we expanded it to like 5 or 6 thousand by the end of the first semester. It was something crazy.
That's wild. And the thing is, too, is social media is a free marketing platform, and nobody takes advantage of it. But
Sure.
now it's getting to the point that social media, everybody has social media, everybody uses it. It's starting
Yeah,
to be
I think we went from 300 to 2,000. I think that's the
okay,
number,
and that's
and
still really good.
I mean it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, you know, now they're around 4,000 on
Mm,
their page, but they probably, honestly, they probably lost followers because now they're Division three. Um,
yeah.
it's just the way it is. But
Mm,
um, Facebook blew up, and I worked really hard to do some of those, to make some of those efforts for the school, and it was like it wasn't even working. Like I was just I remember being on the road and doing the little stuff like the pregame matchup graphics and the scoreboard templates on the bottom of your screen, where it says the score. All that stuff I was just interesting to me. And I was like, maybe I can transfer. So when I was at Pfeiffer, had a good career, didn't play a whole lot, but it was a good experience for 2 years. Then it turned into like, I got to get my shit together to figure out what I'm going to do when I leave. And I was going to do a master's program at a bunch of different schools. I was going to go to ETSU. I was going to go to Virginia Tech. I was going to go to Liberty. I had a couple big schools that I was potentially going to go do my master's program, but do the internship that I needed as a prerequisite for a job. It was just too much money. I didn't have the baseball to fuel that scholarship. Baseball got me through school. So I just didn't have it. So I pulled the plug, enjoyed my time at Pfeiffer, and went back to school. And once I got home, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, because I know you were starting to get, and I'll transition from there. You're starting to get a little bit into photography, and you've built that into a pretty profitable business at this point. And I think a lot of that stems. It could be more, and we'll get into that. But like, I think a lot of that has to stem from your time at Pfeiffer, because you were taking that baseball flame was kind of like going away almost to a sense.
But I was slowly starting to get my foot in the door to where I wanted to be and do. So I agree. I was now taking the pictures and then going and using them on the social media, and it was it worked out great. So
it was a happy marriage that was able to open up doors.
Literally, open relationship. And the exposure I had was good, but I literally had a small conversation with the sports photographer that we hired at Pfeiffer, and he started rambling on about, I make this, I make that, I do this, I do that, wedding here and there. It started adding up to like, yo, you can make some decent money doing this, and you're good at it. So I went out and bought a camera. I helped at Brunswick. I helped my ex-girlfriend. Her parents were wedding photographers, so I naturally helped them here and there. They slipped me $100. Thanks for your help. And it was fun for me, but it was a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. There is no room to fuck up. If you fuck up, you're done. You're screwed. So there's a lot of stress under you. Well, when I went to Pfeiffer, I started doing little stuff. My friends' graduation photos, or just little stuff here and there. And I was like, well, it's just extra money, right? I mean, I'm in school. I got my parents' money. So I took that. When I went back home, I took that and hit the ground running. And I mean, I only have a couple hundred followers on my Instagram and Facebook, but Facebook really helped me out with word of mouth and stuff. And I used what I did in school to build what I'm doing now. And as an adult, I'm about to be 30. Like, social media is not like, it's not a need for me. I don't need social media to live. So it's hard to, like, I don't post a whole lot. I don't really broadcast myself really on purpose. Like, I don't really need the publicity. I'm already successful doing it. I'm just rocking it. And it's strictly, I kid you not, strictly word of mouth. And, regardless of your faith base, I think, God's plan is that he just keeps throwing it at me when I need it the most. And it's kind of worked out in my favor. So I've averaged about 5 weddings a year, and about maybe 15, 20 shoots, different families, returning families, different events. So yeah, it's profitable where I can make a little bit of money and direct my attention to whatever I decide to do.
Yeah, because the whole adding social media thing, I'm going through it right now, and
it's tough.
It is a different animal, especially whenever you start getting multiple different platforms and you're trying to grow it and everything else.
But if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people nowadays they want to work 30 hours a year, 30 hours a week, and make 150 grand a year, and not work and sleep in and all this stuff. That is the people don't realize that, and I'm in this situation now as a supervisor in a corporate setting and working for Pepsi. That's the 1% in the world that have that opportunity to do that, and kids, and I'm out of that category. I think we all are. We're above that category, but those kids coming out of high school or coming out of school, they want to be the CEO right away. They want to make 150 grand right away. They want to have the nice car, have the nice boat, do all those things, and they compare themselves to me being almost 30 having those things. But I worked my ass off for 8, 9, 10 years now to have those things. I didn't just get them just by putting my socks on and going to work.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a meeting this morning about I forgot how it was framed up. It was like reassurance in the workplace. And there was a study that came out that said anyone over the age of 30 with Gen X or whatever category it was, you can pat them on the back 20 times a year and they'd be happy. Not even they won't even accept the 20 times a year, which if you put that in perspective, that's once every other week. Thank you. We appreciate you. Keep doing it. Keep doing hard work, that kind of thing. With this new generation coming out of high school and college, the survey, the study said that to reinsure a kid at that age in the workplace, you have to pat them on the back over 120 times a year. And if you put that in perspective, that's once every 3 days. There's 365 days in a year.
And
so once every
then,
3 days, I got to say, thank you for coming to work today. Thank you for wearing your work uniform. Thank you for showing up on time. It's like, bro, you don't get that shit from me. Come to work, do your job, and let's go. Like, it's only as hard as you make it. Dylan could tell you. He worked under me for a couple months, but it's a hard world to work in, and people just want it handed to them. It doesn't help that everything's expensive now.
Yeah, that's that's for damn sure. But that's wild.
That's
I didn't. Yeah, that's a totally different conversation. But just thinking about that, like
that translates into college athletics too.
It does. And I was about to say that.
That's why I wanted to tie that in, because I was even talking to Coach Allen, and he'll never see this, and honestly, he'll probably commend what I'm saying. The way we practiced 10 years ago is illegal to practice now. You cannot run them until they throw up. You cannot make them lift until they are in a cardiac arrest situation. You cannot, punish them in front of group settings. Like, there's so many rules now that he even expressed how frustrated it was to not get the same quality player that he got 10 years ago. Well, it's the structure. And I asked him, I was like, yeah, you remember those bow and arrows? You remember the poles? You remember the discipline running? Like, y'all still do that? Like, and the kid's looking at me like, what the hell's a triangle? Like, what is a pole? And I'm like, you got a minute and 10 seconds to get around the field? I mean, oh yeah, we run poles. Yeah, we run poles after we pitch. It's like, nah, you don't know what a pole is, bro. Like,
that's wild.
Dog, we had 28 seconds to go down and back, and you had to cook it. And
bro,
it didn't matter if you were big 250 or one little, 110. It doesn't matter. You had the same time.
A minute 10 seconds was like very generous too for a triangle.
Oh yeah. It was literally sprint, jog, sprint.
And another thing too, I was going to tie on to that is the amount of injuries we're seeing this year, college and professional. Professionals, there's a ton, but like college, it seems like a top tier player is going down every single week.
That's also more of them are playing longer. That's the issue. The thing of, let's stay in college for a little longer. I mean, sure, college, I would say, I stand by it 100%. College football or college sports is a lot more competitive, which means people are playing a lot harder. Mm-hmm. So the minute you go to a professional level, it's like, all right, yeah, He's getting paid more money than I am. He's not putting in that much effort, though. I'm not going to do the same thing. I'll still get paid some money. Whereas college, I mean, you're not everybody's getting like those big NIL deals. People that aren't are like, all right, I'm going to work my rear off to be number one. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah. And also, like, they know next year this guy's probably going to be gone. Yeah. So I'm supposed to be taking his spot. So it's my responsibility to make sure I'm prepared to take that position.
But it goes into the discipline factor. You know, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, like some of these big, Dabo at Clemson. I mean, they have discipline within their programs.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to come here and do X and become Y. Like you are going to do this, and that, and then you may get the opportunity to play.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they have all the damn. They got everything you could think of. I mean, they got a fucking bowling alley in their clubhouse and 3 meals a day, and they're spoiled to the next level when it comes to that level.
Mm-hmm.
You think, dude, I was lucky to get a Gatorade bar and I had to pay for it at Pfeiffer for $1.50. You know, it's like I didn't get any of that shit. You know, I had to go buy ice at the gas station and bring it back to the damn athletic room so I could take an ice bath.
A JUCO life.
They got 10. they got 10 whirlpools. You know, at Clemson, shit, they got probably 30. But it's just a difference, and I think that translates into the competitive environment that may or may not be present at the NFL level because they ain't worried about school. They worried about the kids, and they ain't worried about playing because they got food on the table, and they're going to take the rookie dinner for $25K tonight with the. Come on, like,
yeah,
that don't even make sense.
Yeah, it's a different world now, and like honestly, we'll sit there and say it all day. We're old school guys. We don't agree with this. We think we should take stuff away, make it harder on these guys, make them have to train and be ready to play 17 weeks of very tough competitive smash mouth football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is. It's all competitive. Everybody's bigger, faster, stronger. Everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody's
even
better
in a corporate setting. If the team don't win, you don't win.
Right.
Yep.
So therefore, you know, if my company doesn't hit the numbers they need to hit, I don't get my bonus. Mm-hmm. Same thing for the Carolina Panthers. Hey, if we don't succeed over a 500 season, y'all don't get half your paycheck, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You're set up to make 1.3 this year. You're going to make $500,000 this year if we don't win 6 football games.
Mm-hmm.
9 football games, whatever it is.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. And you'll see them fight. You'll see them fight. You'll see them do whatever they got to do to win a football game. And I'm not saying it's hurting people, but I think it'd be interesting. And that kind of brings up my next ask, maybe back to y'all, is like, how scary do you think it'll be in the next 5 years with these contracts that are becoming just Ohtani making he's going to make $500 million to play baseball for the rest of his career.
Yeah, it's getting towards the point where money's just become not even a thing. It's just like, all right, what's a fun number that we can use to break the internet just so we can get more attention? That's all it really is at this point.
Yeah.
Players are getting paid not really for them playing, but for their name. Like that's why Ohtani's making so much money because he's a two-way player. There's not many of them. More and more are appearing now, and he's international.
And I agree. I agree with that. He should be getting paid for his name because his name is bringing the money into the ballpark. His name is bringing people that watch that All-Star game. His name is bringing people to a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 9 years or, you know, whatever it is. So he should be getting paid based on likeliness. But making $55 million a year, making $100,000 a day. What we might make in a year, he's making in 2 days, a day, half a day. Mm-hmm. He could sleep for 12 hours that day and make more money than you're going to make all year.
Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen to the rest of the league following suit to that? It's going to start going up. And
I think they got to throw a cap. They're going to have to. They're going to have to throw a cap on it. They're going to have to. They've already shortened the draft. They cut the draft in half. They've kind of worked on the minor league pay minimums. I still think that needs to be better somehow played out. I mean, to get drafted, make a signing bonus, and then go to the minors and make $35,000 a year. That's embarrassing.
Mhm.
Granted, they have the incentives to play. They got, housing's paid for, food's paid for, travel's paid for. So $35,000 a year is just play money.
They're just pocketing it.
But that's $2,000 a month to play with. $2,500 a month to play with. That's not. You can't do that.
And the
Or at
jump
least
between like a single A
represent
to a
yourself.
double A is
Well, the minimum contract in the major leagues right now is $900,000. So as soon as that guy from AAA gets called up, one time, gets called up to the majors, potentially making $1 million. Then he gets sent back in a week, and he'll still keep that.
And it's like an NFL too, because I was listening to something the other day about it. Number one, I didn't realize they have two different practice squads. They have a rookie practice squad, and then they have a vet practice squad. Where like if they have somebody that's been playing for the league, I think vet status is after 5 years, I believe is what it is. And he needs a team to go play for. He can go play for a vet team, and just like if somebody gets hurt, they pull him up just because it's somebody with some experience and all that. The minimum, if I remember right, the minimum they can get paid on a practice squad is over $300K. To be on a practice squad where you go a couple of days out of the week and get your brain smashed in, and
look at
300,000. Sounds nice to me, dog. It's free money.
who was the quarterback that played McCarron for Alabama?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's playing in that XFL,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And for a while, he was the backup quarterback in the NFL. And he said, or I've heard it from multiple people, Andy Dalton right now is in
Carolina. Mm-hmm.
They're happy being backup quarterbacks because they're making $1 million a year just chilling, practicing during the week, hanging out on the sideline, being a somewhat of an advisor, a coach, whatever, however you want to put it, making $1 million a year. Probably the best job in the world.
That's what those backup quarterbacks are. They're basically advisors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you can get Super Bowl rings for being an advisor too. That's the crazy part.
You can get a Super Bowl ring for being on the practice squad.
Yep.
You supported that team. You helped that team to some degree, so you get credit. You get traded. What I think it's 30%. You have to play 30% of the season to get.
I think roughly
represented to if you were on the Yankees this year, and you got traded in June, but they went to the World Series, you still get a ring because you were there. That's just the luck of the draw. But
yeah.
But let's talk about baseball while we're here. How do you think? The big topic I have written down. The big topic at the beginning of the year was the rule changes, and the pitch clock was a big conversation. Mm-hmm. So now that we're through the year, if you haven't noticed, the pitch clock is gone for the playoffs now. How do you think that overall rule concept played out for the year?
I liked it. It made the game just it made it faster, yes, but it made it so it wasn't as slow and drawn out. It just made it so people were like, all right, you better be ready to hit. Stop taking your time. Let's play the game. It definitely sped it up, which I think helped a lot. It definitely got a lot more people to notice the game, be more appreciative of the game. It's like, hey, this can last a good amount of time, but you're exerting a lot more force. People are going to be tired. So innings can't last for forever just because people are like, all right, I can't really swing the bat anymore. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'll take a little bit of a different approach on this because I've had so many discussions on this, and whenever we were doing a midweek breakdown beforehand, I was very much against it. As well as anybody else, I'm very traditional when it comes to baseball. I think it's been the same for the last 150 years. It should stay that way. But I've kind of I've changed tunes on it a little bit after going to a couple of games, experiencing it, seeing how it's actually changed the dynamic of the game. I don't hate it. I hate the fact that it's not in the playoffs. If you're going to keep it in the regular season, you keep it in the playoffs. Regardless, it should all be the same. There should be no difference. But I've kind of changed tunes on why they did it. They initially said it was because of
Speeding the game
up. We want to hit a different demographic when we get younger kids to be watching the game. That's what it originally said. But also, this is coming off a year that Judge went ridiculous home runs. Averages are going up. More people are hitting more home runs and everything. What does adding a pitch clock do for most pitchers? And you were a catcher, so you kind of understand this. As a pitcher, you want to go fast.
Yeah.
You
want to give the batter less time to think.
Exactly. So is it...
Which, as a batter, you shouldn't be thinking anyway. Honestly, you shouldn't have a lot of thought process.
But you see a lot of pro guys doing that now.
Me as a catcher, I would purposely try to get in that groove.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, throw the ball back. All right, I'm ready to go.
How many times did we do that?
Constantly. And we use it, and we did it as like a fun, I got you, like a whatever.
We did it to piss people off.
We did it to make people mad, but we did it as speed pitching, or however the term, whatever the term was back then, but fast pitching. We would do it on purpose. Now, what I don't agree, I agree. So my take is I agree with it to the extent of what they were trying to do, trying to speed the game up. Pitchers
and they succeeded on that,
and that's great. What I don't agree with is, what did Acuna do this year?
Just went off.
He stole 70 bases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
something crazy. He would not have been able to do that if the pickoff move rule change was in effect. He would not have been able to do that.
I hate that rule. That's one of the worst rules they've ever made.
I like it to an extent of creating a competitive nature in the game itself. Like, now it's pitcher against hitter, pitcher against runner. I like that. But I don't like, I'm gonna bait you, I'm gonna get you to pick off whatever. I know you can't pick off now. I know you can't pick off now. So now I'm gonna take my half step. You got a clock that you have to pitch that ball. Now the catcher is like, I see the 50-50 pros and cons, but Acuna would not have stolen 70 bases this year if it wasn't for that rule. So if the rule wasn't around for 150 years, why does he have the ability to break that record when they weren't under the same parameters?
There should be
an asterisk. He should be separate.
Yeah.
It should be somehow like, okay, from 2020 on, rules have changed, the game has evolved. Not necessarily keep different records, but have a different place in the Hall of Fame for it. Because if Ricky Henderson had the same exact rule, he would have stole 100 stolen bases that year.
Easy.
Just different D. Gordon or Ricky Hamilton. Some of these guys that were just fast. If they had that rule 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, they would have broke that record too.
And
I applaud Acuna for taking advantage of it.
Oh, I mean, he was smart. He played by the rules of the game, and that's what you have to ask of all athletes. So
someone advised him to do that.
Yeah,
that was not self-induced, but
no,
I think it's interesting.
It's very interesting, and it's almost like one of those. You kind of have to treat it the same way as like back whenever they changed the distance of the mound. It's almost like the same thing. You look at it from eras. If you look at it from like, okay, pitchers were getting
look at pitch count.
Yeah,
I mean, Babe Ruth pitched. He was the original Ohtani, right? Babe Ruth pitched and hit.
Mm-hmm.
Babe Ruth would throw 180 pitches in a game, but he was only throwing 80 miles an hour.
Yeah,
you can't tell me he was throwing 100 miles an hour.
No, none of them were.
Nobody was throwing 80, 90. I mean, nobody was throwing 90, 100 miles an hour. Nobody.
And they were closer.
If they were, there's no proof that they were because there was no technology to prove that they were.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another dynamic, that the same rules that Otani might be, or the same records that Otani might be breaking right now, it's a totally different game.
Oh yeah.
So that's the stuff that us as fans, former players and fans, having that conversation, saying, well, we got to compare this player to this player, but decades change. It's
Yeah.
every single, it's a whole Jordan or LeBron aspect, or Jordan and Kobe and all that stuff.
And
It's the
there's
same
little
thing.
changes,
Yeah.
like the expansion of the bag, making the bag bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I think that it was smart for injuries.
That was going to be my big
having a
thing,
limited
is
space
injuries.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly diving into second base.
Yeah.
But one thing I am very nervous about, being being an advocate and an ambassador for baseball, is taking the human aspect out of the game. If they make the strike zone a robotic strike zone, I like what they did in the minor leagues this year. I don't know if you guys saw that, but basically a batter has one challenge per game, and they can challenge a ball or strike call one time. So it could be a strike 3, it could be whatever. They can challenge it, and right there and then they put it up on the board. Nope, it was a ball. Okay, ball 4, and the game goes on. But if they miss it, then they miss it. Then they lose their challenge for that batter or that
Right.
player. I think that's cool, because I don't know about you, but if I'm Game 7 of the World Series, bases loaded, Angel Hernandez is behind the plate, freaking dirtbag, shouldn't even be back there.
Oh, he's gone now.
His calls. He's gone
He's
now.
gone.
Yeah. R.I.P. R.I.P. Hernandez. Another one. Then
Yikes.
if you're in a bad spot, pressure, people are standing up. I mean, it's an environment you've always dreamed of, and an umpire fucks you. Just up and in, strike 3, woo, crowd goes wild, and you have that challenge. That could change everything.
Mm-hmm. They can,
and that'd be nuts.
I do like that. I think
that's one thing they will implement next year. I think next year they will put that in play.
Because the whole
doing a robotic strike zone,
that
eliminates it.
You're taking out that
even
aspect
replays
of the game that you're just.
Replays came out. It's like, oh my god, we're stopping the game and we're going to the freaking headphones, and you got the replay up on the screen. The whole stadium can see it, but New York sees something different somehow.
Yeah,
and that slows the game down.
Yeah.
But the human aspect is important, because what was his name? Was it Galarraga, the guy, the Detroit Tigers that missed the perfect game because
Andres Galarraga,
called him safe at first base. You got replay back in 2010. That man throws a perfect game, and that man's name is in the Hall of Fame.
And you never heard from him again?
No.
That was just one time.
Yep. So there's pros and cons to it, but I think that was just a question I had to spark a conversation.
Yeah, and the way baseball's going now, it could be really, really good. It could be very, very competitive, and we're seeing that. I think I'm just biased because my Braves are playing well, but and y'all
that goes into my next question is
y'all are having to deal with Baltimore right now. So
first day of the playoffs, the Twins just beat the Blue Jays, which I think they'll win that series. I think the Twins will win. Then you had the Marlins are playing the Phillies right now. I think it's the Phillies series lose. There's no way that you lose to the Marlins. I mean, Marlins are hot, but they're not better than the Phillies.
Right.
Baltimore, there was actually a guy at work that's big Orioles fan. Shout out to Lefty. And there was something that came out early in the year that was like, oh yeah, 2024, 2026, the Orioles will be something to reckon with. Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, well, they have the number 2 pipeline. They have this. They have that. They've had draft picks. They got stuff going on. Well, however they played their cards this year worked out in their favor by bringing up the young guys and Gunnar, Adley, Rodriguez as a pitcher, brought in a couple guys. Mullins went off again. Shout out to Campbell. They're having a good year. And I think for them to win the East against the 3 teams that should have won, Rays, Blue Jays, and the Yankees, I'm a big Yankees fan. Red Sox can die. That was an accomplishment for them. I mean, good for them. They pulled it off. So good luck to them. But I really overall think it's a Dodgers or a Braves playoff season to lose.
Yeah, we'll see about that. The pitching, I'm kind of scared of right now. But
yeah, your bullpen in Atlanta is not.
It ain't what it was a couple of years ago.
Whew. Something the Dodgers have over you.
That is very true.
It's really about the offense. Your offense is going to carry you through the playoffs. And if Acuna, Olsen, Riley, some of those guys have the same postseason they did towards like the last 2 months of the season, y'all will be fine.
And it's really gonna rely a lot on Ozzie and Rosario. Rosario played very, very well in those playoffs, and that made a gigantic difference in the bottom of our lineup. So I'm really
talking
hoping.
About last year or this year?
Last year.
Yeah, Eddie went off in the playoffs.
Ever since
you also had those guys out of the pen.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to put up runs because our bullpen's a little shaky right now. But
yeah, and I mean I think the Phillies are good too. The Phillies had a wake up call last year by making the playoffs and having a run. Made the World Series.
And at least they represented pretty well this year in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They had a really good year overall outside of Washington. Washington they're rebuilding some fears, but
I'm interested to see where it goes though.
Yeah, I am too. I think we're slowly getting back to that old time where it's like you rely on your farm system and you grow your players. You don't just buy them.
Yep.
Consistently, you don't do that.
That's the next question I had was, do you agree, or what do you think it brings to the game to bring up these young prospects really early in their career, rather than making them earn it? Where 10 years ago, the average minor league stint was 3 years to make it to the majors. If you think about it, high A goes into, A ball, double A, triple A. Have a good transition. You make the majors.
Right
now, you got prospects coming in straight into double A, throw a couple games, they're in the majors, and I think that's shown a tremendous impact on what college baseball has done to promote those players to be ready for that next level in a fast manner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now the joke about the Yankees signing some 15-year-old international, or let's use the Salas guy for the Padres. 16 years old, catcher, swings from both sides, has speed, has power. Holiday, first overall draft pick, had a tremendous minor league season for the Orioles. I like it. I think it's good for the game. But it's crazy that potentially Holiday is going to be in the majors next year at 19 years old. And look who started at 19 years old and is successful. Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, Acuna, some of these guys that
even if you go back, A-Rod, Jeter, all of them, they started really young. They didn't last very long in the minors. They got their shot really early, and
But Jeter still spent 2 years in the minors.
He did, but he was still really young.
A-Rod went straight to it.
Well, that's because
Manny, David Ortiz, some of those guys, they went straight up there, and so it hasn't really changed a whole lot. But the publicity back then was completely different.
Well, nobody knew who David Ortiz was for a long time.
But you can go into take a small little detour here. If MJ being the best basketball player to ever live, I guarantee if he had the same scrutiny over social media that LeBron's dealt with his whole career, MJ wouldn't have had the same career. He just wouldn't have. It would have altered his career because, and I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm not gonna say I don't care for him. I respect him, but I don't think he's the best ever to live. I mean, I think he's one of the best, but I give him credit for the amount of things that he's dealt with his whole career when it came to social media and some of the issues that he's covered. He's gotten a little political, but I think overall he's dealt with it a very, very mature way. So did Kobe. Kobe came in kind of half hybrid, half and half, but MJ didn't have that stuff.
Well, and the funny thing is, if you look at it, those guys that came in around that time between 97 and 02 or 03, LeBron came in 03, I believe. In basketball, football, golf, Tiger Woods. You saw in 96, 97, or he was at Stanford in 95, and 96, 97 amateur coming up. All their careers started to change around that 05 to 08 phase whenever Facebook and all that started to become a real thing.
Yep.
And you saw social media coming up.
His press turned into something that wasn't newspapers.
And nobody knew how to handle it.
No, it was different.
They were just like, I'm here to play ball. Like, I'm not here to.
And you've seen the cons to it. Look at what Tiger Woods is fucked up, and his bad decisions have blown up. Kobe had a small stint with the cheating on his wife thing, and LeBron. I mean, I give it to him. He's got the same high school sweetheart. He's got the kids. He's got things that nowadays might not be traditional to have the same family and the same baby mama and the things that we want to promote to have successful families moving forward. That's big for him to succeed with all the bullshit that he's had to.
And I think that's why a lot of people still respect him a lot, and he's kept his respect.
And that's why I say I respect him.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I'm not a big fan of him. I'm just the way he plays and everything. I mean, some people they're gonna say something about that and everything. And it has nothing to do with him personally. I don't care to really watch him that much. I just don't. But what he does off the court, how he condones himself, how he condones like his family and everything else, I have to give him respect for that, because you don't see that anymore.
But social media, I mean, it can make or break you. And it is a business.
One bad move and your career's over with on that too.
Yes and no, but I mean, you can see the significance of, like, off the top of my head, Messi coming to football or coming to soccer in the United States, playing for the MLS in Miami. All right. First of all, 10 years ago, he would have never thought Messi never thought to come to the stomping grounds of football, of soccer overseas, successful, doing his thing. Obviously, he's from Argentina, so he took soccer from South America to the European stage, and obviously became one of the best, if not the best, soccer player to ever play. But randomly, he's older. This is where the money starts, collaborating to your success for longevity of your family. Like, you're talking about generational wealth. I mean, he took a deal he could not resist and came to Miami to play MLS football. But look how much that shit's blown up since one name has came and done that. And it's because of what surrounds the soccer environment in the United States. That's why you see a lot of players, golf, soccer, the guys that are turning down those Dubai deals for like $1 billion. Like, Otani killed, that guy. Turning down those deals. What's in Dubai?
Oil. We like oil. Oil means more money, and it means you pay less for gas. That's all.
It's money. It's money overall, but not everybody can travel to Dubai.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to travel to Dubai because you can't afford it. People,
Oh, yeah.
90% of the population in the world cannot afford to go to Dubai. So, as a player, yeah, I'll make $1 billion playing in Dubai. But what will that do for my name moving forward? Because ain't nobody coming to my games. You're not stacking out 80,000 fan stadiums in Dubai, but you will in Miami. You will in Manchester. You will in LA. So I think that weighs into decision making for not the player, but the people supporting the player, the agents, the executives, the people that are fully inclined in the business part. All that stuff comes into play now. So
It
I
makes
think it's
decision
important.
making a lot harder now for all these professional athletes. And I give it to them. It's like, that's why, like, being an agent right now, you're probably like biting at the damn bit to get with one of these people that they could be middle of the road and you're still going to be a multimillionaire.
Yep.
It's not, your money's not going to be an issue. So,
But if it was easy, everybody would do it. So
yeah,
those guys, they've mastered their craft to be able to represent these athletes the way they have. And I mean, you look at the guy that represents LeBron. I mean, he represents the top 25 players in the league. So he ain't worried about money.
no,
I mean, he's
it's about his
He's
name at this point.
incentivized.
Yeah.
But back to Messi. If you look into his contract, it's actually an incentive-based contract, believe it or not. So I can look into it, but what I got out of it is his contract is incentive-based on sponsors. So based on the success he has as a team, success he has as a player, people that come to the stadium, broadcasting deals, all the things that are around the sport is actually directly impacted by him because now he has shares
The team.
that he has shares for the team.
Shares
He has
in
shares for Apple.
and
He
his
has
shoes
shares
as well.
for Adidas.
Yeah.
There was like 3 or 4.
iTunes as well. I think he had something in iTunes as well, but that's Apple as well. Something that matters.
Yeah, but it's incentive based. So based on his success is what he'll make out of it, which I think is important to understand. That he's not getting paid. I mean, he's still getting paid a lot of money, but he didn't sign a traditional contract. Is what I'm getting at, and I think it might be the groundwork for something moving forward, like we were talking about with incentive based contracts. But he can do that at his level of his career because he's at the back end. I mean, he's only got 3, 4 more years maybe until he says, "All right, I've had enough. I can go do my thing."
It's time to go sit on a beach in Brazil and just like don't worry about anything the rest of my life. Yeah.
He don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
he it's crazy, but
we're getting to the end of our show, man. So we're gonna we usually ask everybody this, and I want to get your take on it. What's one piece of advice that you would give for the next generation coming up? Ball player, athlete, businessman, anything.
I guess the cliche saying would be to be better than you were yesterday. Like I came across a quote the other day that said, I can worry about the present, I can worry about tomorrow, but I can't do anything about yesterday, so I can't worry about it. And I think that goes along with baseball being, failing 70% of the time, still making it to the Hall of Fame and being successful and all the things that are intertwined with the game of baseball, but dealing with things like failure will make or break you, first of all. But I think kids really need to understand that the structure and the discipline around college athletics will create you into a better person rather than, even me. Like, I didn't get to play a lot in school, but I had a great opportunity to represent a school, represent myself, make myself a better person, and grow to where it turned a switch went off in my head when I got hurt to where instead of being the best baseball player I could be, it was be the best person, the best teammate I could be. Because believe it or not, my best friends or a kid I played for a semester, he is not going to remember what Andrew Chomiczewski did the fall of 2015 in fall ball. He's going to remember that, homie came and picked him up when he was drunk at the bar because he couldn't drive. Or, you know, I went out of my way to drive 4 hours to watch you get married because you were a big part of my life. I want to be a representative to yours. Like, it goes further than just baseball. It just goes, more than sports. And I think that it's hard for kids to see that because of all the distractions they are just intertwined with social media and money, and everybody wants to be that standout. Everybody wants to have 1 million followers. Everybody wants to have that luxurious life. But like we said earlier, that's the 1%. That's the people who get lucky, the TikTok influencers and all the bullshit that everybody wants to be now. We need more people. Even now in my setting of work, I'm in charge of hiring my own people and guiding a team to win. And I'm not hiring a body. I'm not hiring just a quantity of a person. I'm hiring a person who is a quality employee, who wants to be there, who wants to work, who gives a shit, who understands what's going on. That translates into life. We want people in the world that are going to make a difference, not just people. And I honestly don't know the answer of how to get to the kids. I don't know how. I don't know how it's instilled in their brain at a young age, because I think it starts in the household. It starts in the upbringing of parents and structured coaches and structured educators who hold people accountable to that discipline. And that's something that's lacking in the world now. And that's why you see soft ass kids. That's why you see the injuries. That's why you see the bitching and complaining over TikTok and Twitter and all that stuff that is just honestly irrelevant. They've made relevant because it's a part of the life now. It's part of the lifestyle. And, we're all guilty of it. We all post on social media. We all take Snapchats to prove that we're, in Greece, or whatever the case may be. But I think you got to draw a line of, is this making me better as a person, or is this making the person next to me weaker or lesser than me? So that's what I would say. I would say every day, try to find a way to make yourself better off the field as well as on the field, because whatever you do off the field will translate into whatever sport you put your mind to.
Just got to think about it. Where we're at right now was built from sports.
Yep.
Every relationship that we have, all of us, our relationships are stemmed from sports. And the thing is, I never played with Aaron, but now like we're tight. We got a show together. We run a company together. Me and you, we met on a baseball field, and we've kept this relationship all the time. I don't remember half the games that we played together. I don't remember all the little things. Now Dakota remembers everything.
I mean, you might remember a home run or something that stands out to you.
I remember celebrating with you.
But, you don't remember my $300 brand new bat. You don't remember the fancy shit that I wore, or just the stupid stuff that people are worried about now that's irrelevant.
But I remember the car rides.
But you remember the car rides. You remember the road trips, the bus rides and the hotels.
The deep conversations. We remember
the deep
all
convos. You remember the parties and the camaraderie around college athletics. You remember that a lot more. I remember more about the shit that nobody cares to see than I do for the people that saw all the positives out of it.
Right.
Nobody's going to talk about doing laundry at 2 a.m. after a road trip. But I can remember that conversation I had with old boy about, his grandfather, whatever the case may be. So that's what's missing is
it's not emphasized enough.
Yeah. Showcase ball. long story short, I go and showcase myself. But I hated the fact that you're in the 5th inning. It's a tie game. Time limit. Game over. What are you teaching? Are you there to play the game and win, or are you there just to go through the motions and put on a uniform? I mean, it makes no sense to me. And now it's even worse. You drive and spend thousands of dollars to go to Georgia and East Cobb and play a perfect game. You don't even know the kids' names on your team. You don't know where you're at. You don't know who's watching you. The only thing you see is what's on social media. And you totally forget about all the little things that we can look back and appreciate.
And the thing is,
and that's why
it's not going to go back, and that's the sad part.
It's sad.
It's very sad. These kids don't. I mean, we caught the very beginning of it all. We were still that last little bit before all this started to really take over. I feel bad for the kids because like they don't get to experience the joy of
the parents are a lot to blame.
The parents are definitely a lot to blame. And
educators, coaches, not all the blame, but
it's a lot of it.
You notice that the programs that are successful, you can quote me on it. The programs that are successful in any line of sports are the ones that have discipline. Period. The ones that fail, have shitty seasons, have things out of their control that they've caused because of what they've done, on and off the field. That's all because of a lack of discipline.
Same for companies.
Just to sum this up, I don't know if you saw the other day, New Bern football team. They got their state championship taken away from them from 2 years ago because they suited 4 players that were ineligible by grades. That is a lack of leadership. That coach said, yeah, we're in a state championship. Dylan, you've worked your ass off all year, but you failed English. It's the state championship. We're gonna suit you up because you deserve to be in this championship game. No, the fuck you don't. Yeah. You failed English, and you don't get to suit up. You get to sit in the stands with your parents and watch the kids who did what they were supposed to do. Well, they didn't do that. They suited them up, and look what happened. Under investigation, 2 years later, they've had a state title stripped because one guy made a decision to suit them up. Lack of leadership, lack of discipline. So, but overall, I appreciate you guys having me on. I look forward to something more if I could help out. I know I got a really busy schedule. I'm always out and about, moving, traveling, doing things. So it's cool that I could fit this into my schedule. So I appreciate you guys having me on. I look forward to whatever's next. So
yeah, I really appreciate you getting on, man. I've been personally, this is satisfying for me because you're an older brother than me, mentor. You've been there for me whenever I was going through a lot of problems at East Carolina. There's a lot of times where I didn't want to keep on doing javelin and everything. You told me, hey, you're living your dream right now. You need to realize, take advantage of it. And now that I look back at it, I see exactly what you're saying, and I'm implementing the same stuff that you were telling me as an older brother and a mentor that I'm implementing now in some of the kids that I'd start to train. And
that goes back into the the leadership aspect. Like, it doesn't have to be from educators, teachers, coaches, parents. It can be from your peers.
Right.
And I think leading by example, guiding the people that you care about next to you to be better people, that's the accountability factor. If you're doing something stupid, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And honestly, if you're that deep in the weeds as a friendship and you can't respect that and you can't own that, then you shouldn't be they shouldn't be in your circle. They shouldn't be your friend. And it's honestly a waste of time and effort to spend on them if that's not what they're not gonna be accepting of it.
Right.
And I translate that into really anything that I do, whether it's work, fishing, playing softball, playing golf, whatever the case may be, I'm always trying to make the person next to me better, and I think that goes a long way. So,
Yep.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, we're gonna get you back on at some point, and we'll try to fit it into that schedule. But
Yeah, we'll take it to the next level. But
definitely, man. Yep. And this is the next episode of the Athlete Stable Podcast.